So just to let you know, I record the meetings because then there will be, if you have any questions, you don't have to get crazy doing notes or anything like that. Um, you can go back and kind of review the videos that are posted on YouTube, probably over the weekend. And yeah, so like I said, if you have any questions, you can go back to that. Now, let me find the documents. So, real quick, do you have the book? And I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. Okay, dog. Can you see? Can you see this document? This book right here, Sue. It's got something in the chat. Okay. Yes. Okay. She can see. You can see that. No, no problem. I just want to make sure. I'll look at the chat for the answers. Okay. So, what this is, my name is Jason Centeno. I do retired. Entrepreneur from real estate and other things. Right now, I'm actually working on app creation, and we have a pretty big fundraise, seed round raise coming up in the next couple weeks or something. I'm doing, but I was chosen by Galter and Optimus Nation because of my past experience in real estate as a wholesaler. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to put it in the chat. The link to this document. So if you don't have it, and just let me know in the chat if you already have it. Okay, if you already have this thing. So basically, the point of these videos is we go over a chapter each week. So you have to, have seen it. So right now, this week we are in chapter 4. Just a quick recap of the chapters we talk about in the first chapter, kind of coming up with your name, your branding name, your personal branding name. I like to call your superhero name. And why I say that is because this is the name that's going to help you stick out in people's mind, like your P Diddy or Jesse Jack, not Jesse Jackson, Jesse James or Tony the Tiger or Mike McCann, the real estate man, whatever that happens to be. You come up with some kind of name, or you take one that's already been given to you and you embrace it and you start to go with that. But you have to obviously be comfortable with it. You're going to live with it a while. I just give an example of what I've used over the and I've kind of stuck to this one because the idea was I wanted my brand to be about family and fun. So a dad is family, and the fun part, fast cash, is always fun, and plus it's a solution to the problem for wholesalers, meaning that the people who want to sell fast is obviously the people that you want to appeal to. So that's the quick story about that. The nickname thing, kind of how you pick, that would be chapter 1. Chapter 2, got to catch them all. What that refers to is just basically going throughout social media and sort of looking to make sure that this nickname that you picked up, you can actually own the assets to it. Owning the assets meaning like the Gmail and the YouTube account, probably most important. And then you can go and change your Facebook and your Instagram, and kind of, you're allowed to go in and change the URL a little bit to reflect whatever this new nickname is, so that if there are 20 Jasons out there in the world and they're looking for Daddy's Fast Cash, they could Google Daddy's Fast Cash and find that person, that Jason, a lot faster than they could find the Jason, the wholesaler for Philadelphia. That there are already enough of them, and that it's easier to find you once you have that nickname. That people can go by that nickname and look for you, and so your branding, your brand presence gets out there a little bit more. We talk about using 99 Designs and Fiverr to kind of come up with you know your presentation if you're going to do a logo or some kind of like little avatar, kind of like what I did. And this is where you go to find those kind of people. Canva is also a good way to work those up real quick. Your story. So why do you do all this? People don't really care that you're a wholesaler. They don't care that you know that you make money. All they care about really is what's in it for them. What do I mean by that? It's like, well, I don't, if I have to buy or sell a house, a normal person doesn't do that but once, twice, maybe 3 times in their life. So how often are they going to remember you how lucky you think you're going to be there at the time, in all those years that they're ready to buy or sell a house? Probably not very likely. So they need to remember you for something else. So one of the things I talk about in branding is like taking your passion and mixing it with your business. So if you are a wholesaler and you happen to um, be to eat, what do you call it, X Games, and like like the like motorcycles and motocross and stuff like that, you could kind of combine those two things together, and in your communications you let people know about that passion of yours as well. So now when they're saying, well, what about that, I'm looking for the person. Let me rephrase that. When you're building up your social media presence, you want people to care about you. Then you're going to want to build your tribe from a bunch of people who care about the same things you care about, meaning your hobbies, your passions. For me, I put it right here. I'm an adoption advocate. I have a mission to. My mission is I want to see 100 kids adopted for my lifetime. So the whole daddy thing sort of falls into that as well. So that's a bigger kind of why I'm looking to make money or create apps or do whatever I feel like doing in my life, is because at the end of the day I have a big why, and that's to see 100 kids adopted through my lifetime and through my influence. So there's people out there in the world that say, well, yeah, I was adopted, I was a foster kid, or I adopted kids, so I'm going to kind of pay attention to this guy. I might not be selling a house right now or trying to buy a house right now. When I'm ready, though, I probably will think about him first because I'm already looking at all the other stuff he's doing. So having a big why, a cause, don't be fake. It has to be authentic. It has to be congruent to you. Don't just pick one out of a hat and be like, I'm just going to go with that because I don't have one. Like, make sure it's part of like your identity, and be authentic with it, whatever you pick. And I'm pretty sure that if you're a human being, you have some kind of passion out there that will appeal to other people around you. Again, it could be motocross, it could be painting, it could be flowers, it could be wine, it could be, um, you know, pets, dogs, whatever. These things are part of you, what makes you you. But these are also the things that are going to make people remember you over other people. Because when you're flying through Facebook and you're looking at everybody trying to push whatever there is, they're trying to sell or market it, you're probably like, eh. But if they have a really cool meme, or they have something cute about a dog or a kitten, those are the things you might stop for. And then you'll start to recognize that person a little bit more, because now you're stopping, now you're looking, and all the noise that's out in the world, including this lawnmower that they start to mow the lawn while I'm doing this, of course. But with all the noise going on in the world, like, you want to stand out somehow, and visually is usually the best way, because you can always drown people out, you can always mute sounds, you can always just turn people off. But visually, it's a lot easier, which is why I use a lot of colorful stuff and kind of do this cartoon and comic booky kind of stuff. That's for me. You got to figure out what works for you. So coming up with your big why, part of your story, why people want to follow you, why do they want you in their lives? You have to come up with that for not only for other people but for yourself. Because if it's big enough, then when you're not being, like, you're not having a lot of success, or you're just starting out and you're plodding through and things aren't working yet and you're trying to figure things out. You have something bigger to focus on, like a North Star or compass, and like why you're doing it, why you're getting up in the morning. This helps you to focus on the big picture, which is you're aiming for this 100 kids, you're aiming for this orphanage somewhere, you're aiming to raise $100,000 for St. Jude's Fund because maybe you had cancer when you were a child and somebody did that for you. You're aiming for equality in the world, whatever it is. Like, just stopping Asian hate, Black Lives Matter, whatever it is. The point is, like, yes, not everybody's going to be on board with what you do, but you would rather have them like what you do and and endorse it, or hate what you do and basically turn you off. Being in the middle is useless. When people don't care anything about you, like there's no emotional attachment to who you are, that's the worst. Even like, just think about how Trump was. I mean, people hated him, but people loved him, people hated him, but he got so much engagement from that he made you take a side because that helped him. And so Don't be afraid to make people take a side. Don't be afraid to be your authentic self. Yes, you will turn some people off. But so what about those people? They weren't your people anyway. They weren't your tribe. Worry about your tribe. So that's the other part of your story that really comes up. Um, all right. This is chapter 4. Now we're getting into like this week. So you have your nickname, you get to know who you are, why you do what you do. Um, you have to start, your personality, like how do you want to present it to the world? As I said, with your nickname, it's like your superhero self. So Clark Kent is still Superman, but the super him is what everybody sees, and the Clark Kent is what he hides. That's his personal life, right? So I kind of just went into this. Don't try to appeal to everybody. Find out who your people are, your tribe, and just worry about those people. Worry about engaging them, and it shouldn't be too hard to do that. Oh, geez, this guy's coming in now. It shouldn't be too hard to do that when you're, like I said, if you have a sense of humor, it's pretty easy. If you're artistic, that's pretty cool too. Like you can just share personal art. You don't have to be the biggest extrovert. You just have to put out content that appeals to the people like you, and that way they get to like, know, and trust you because they like what you like, and they know what you know. So a lot of it is there's a book called Jab Jab Right Hook you should get by Gary Vee, and it just tells you how to like go out in the marketplace and create content that people like or relatable things, so that way they feel an attachment to you. Because if you have a business, people don't care about the business itself. They're not going to reach out to your phone. They're not going to reach out to you specifically about your business unless they need that service, or like they just happen to need it at that specific time and you were talking about it. It's more about were you approachable and can they get to the right person. Jab jab right hook. Yes, it's in here. It might actually be um yeah, it's right here. So the links to it are right here. Also, A Thousand True Fans is a book that I think everybody should look at because it just talks about how you build up your brand with 1,000 people. I'm gonna try to move somewhere a little quieter. Right? Like, I didn't plan this well, so sorry. And right, sorry about that, guys. I'm just gonna run up to a quiet place. It ain't gonna be pretty, but yeah. So jab, jab, right hook. The idea is to go deep with people, not broad. Like, don't try to appeal to everybody. Not every, like I said, not everybody cares about you. You're not on everybody's radar. You want to just get in people's minds that you have, some kind of kinship with, some kind of similar interest with, right? So you can kind of go through this right now. Um, Sorry about that. This is probably a little better. Just ran into a spare bedroom. Um, Again, being authentic, not being fake. If you are a little sassy, then sure, be sassy. If you want to stay away from extremes as much as you can, and obviously the extremes are like religious beliefs and politics and some other things. You can have an opinion about them, especially if you're like kind of in that world. But don't go every 5 minutes. Don't go hard like every one of your posts has to do with that because you'll just turn everybody off. And even the people you think you're doing it for will be turned off with because again, at the end of the day, like a dinner party, if someone's just talking nonstop about real estate, oh, real estate this, real estate that, it's like, dude, I just came here to eat and relax. I don't want to hear about that all day. So they turn you off. So just remember that. That happens with everything and everybody. Think about your own experiences. Maybe even go online and kind of look at the people that you follow and kind of go back and say, why do I like that person? Go back, reverse engineer, look at them, say, oh, they do this, they do that. They seem nice. They seem like a person I'd want to hang out and have a beer with. You want to be that person, like that too, however that looks to you. So think about the people that are in your life that you want to hang out with and try to be that person to these other people online. And maybe you get invited to have a beer. It happens all the time. I get invited to more lunches than I don't know what, but you know, not always possible. But it's always nice to be invited, right? So 1,000 True Fans, we go through that here. So if you download the book, this is a link to it. You can get it for free. I think, last I checked, this free download for the Jab Jab Right Hook was available. So you can go inside this document, this PDF document, and the links are there, they're hyperlinks. So you don't have to like go copy and paste. You just click the button. So quick tips and recap on this chapter 4 stuff. start building your tribe. It has the equations right there. Your business, and your plus your passions, plus your secret sauce. That's super you. Your secret sauce is your personality, obviously. And whether you're introverted or extroverted or somewhere in between, you the same way you communicate with people in real life, you can do a version of that online and test it out. Just always be testing. These parts to start building up your brand. Obviously, is social media. How do you find them? You already know them. Just friend people that are friends of your friends, see what they're about, chime in on some of their posts. Always be a fan of other people. I always say that. Like, if you want to get in someone's world, definitely uh, don't just hit them up like, hey, you know, um, I hate it. Are you open to other opportunities? It's like, I don't even know who you are. So kind of like compliment them. Maybe if they do something that make you laugh, you can just let them know with a note, a personal note. I mean, some likes and hearts and all that stuff is okay, but like an actual comment and an actual uh, comment and even a direct message sometimes do worlds better, because we live in a world where everybody just kind of like absorbs, consumes, and then they keep moving on. So stuff like that actually sticks out in people's minds a little bit more. And that's also how people get to like, know, and trust you, when you actually extend yourself past the electronic border that is, Facebook, Instagram, and all that. So don't try to appeal to everybody. Like I said, you and your people will find each other, and your tribe will begin to form by itself naturally. Don't go broad. Don't care about appealing to everybody. Go deep. Establish brand loyalty. Establish friends and people who will stick up for you when things go bad. That's what happens when you create like that kind of personality online. And those are the must reads. So I think that's it for today. Um, so now, if you had questions, you want like an opinion on some things, now's the time to ask, and I will, for the next 20, 25 minutes or so, if that's how long it takes, answer your questions. Do you have any? And if the dogs bark, so be it, because I was in a noisy place too. So don't worry about that. Oh, you don't have any? All right. So no questions. Any resources, or like you said, you're a wholesaler, and if you're watching this, guy, sorry, this is kind of going on in the chat. I don't even know if you can see the chat. Not a wholesaler. Okay. So what? So you're getting into real estate and wanted to get into it. Got it. Um, what part of do you want to get into? You want to buy and hold? Do you want to? There's multiple. Be an agent. I guess let me know a little bit more the path you think you want to take. You don't know? Okay, it's okay. Well, it starts with books, right? So let me hook you up with something. Hang tight. Let me find it. Shit, stop share. Okay. Um, damn, where's the free? So I don't know if you're part of this. I'm just showing it to you, but every Saturday this goes down. This is part of the real estate group, and it's kind of more of a broad-based chatting about principles of doing what you do and earning money. Okay, so this is available. You can go and sign up for the Saturday lives right here, galteramarillo.com. Now I'm gonna find something. Give me a second. It's a book, yeah, free book download. So let me find it. It's a real estate book. So, and it's pretty good. I read it. I mean, it's Galter wrote it. I went through it. I was like, yeah, this is good, even if you already know what you're doing. It's kind of, some of the basics, and then advanced stuff. And it definitely behooves you to be reminded even of the stuff you think you know, because there's so much out there that you sometimes forget about, like all that's out there for you to do. And it reminds you, like, hey, I forgot about, like, I know how to solve this problem. You just reminded me about it. So I never I never look at other people's books and be like, I know that, I know that, I know that. I read them like I don't know anything. So, and I think everybody should do that. So 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 this should get you the free book. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Yeah, wholesaling is a way to make a few dollars. You have, but it's also a full-time job, and it does require a lot of dollars to operate. It's not like you make when you see this $10,000 I just made. Great. How long did it take you? 3 months? How much did you spend on marketing? 4 grand. How many people did you have to chop it up with? Three. Like there's all these pieces to it people don't really get deep into because they've perfected it or just gotten better at it. And very few people post their very first deal or give you the real numbers. But it is a way. I've done it for many years. You want to cash flow, obviously you okay. All right. I know people are struggling right now and I want to be able to hold and help people keep their homes if they're decent Americans. Okay. Well, everybody trying to hold their homes is probably in their hearts decent, I would say. But and I know you don't mean anything by that. Just letting you know, just kind of commenting on that. They some people are. I'm going to be honest with you. Some people are not meant to have homes. They're not responsible financially. It's unfortunate. They spend on dumb shit and they forget what's really important. Um, or they're just like I said, financially uneducated. So sometimes the best thing to do is for people to actually, unfortunately, lose a home because maybe I'll give you an example, right? There's people out there that will have this old dilapidated 3-story, 6-bedroom house that every month, like in the winter, like let's say they live in the Northeast, they have this huge house, they fill it full of crap. They have a bunch of people living there that don't support it. They just live there. They eat up utilities. It's drafty. They can't keep it up. So everything's expensive about it. But it's a free roof or a cheap roof over their head, so they stay there, right? But of course, taxes, utilities, repairs, um, deterioration and depreciation, just all the things that having a lot of property does. Code enforcement because they can't keep their grass cut or anything like that. Like it's too much for them. They don't think so. They only see like, hey, it's cheap. They don't realize that no, it's probably not as cheap as you think because you're not holding all these other things into account. So it's probably time for them to let go of that thing and maybe, downsize, right? So that's how you really help them. They might not see it that way, but downsizing, I mean, when you're older and you have a big house, you realize these things. You're like, why do I need all this room? So yes, you can help people in various ways. You just have to focus on like what problems you really want to solve. The thing about a lot of real estate investors, there's a million problems you can solve. You just have to focus and like really get good at solving 1 to 3 problems really well, and obviously start with one. So what do I mean? One big problem is estate, right? Like people inheriting a house that they don't really want. For for emotional reasons, for financial reasons, for familiar reasons, meaning like there's too many people fighting over it. That's a very specific problem, and it's a very specific nut to crack, and it takes a lot of skill on the behalf of the wholesaler to go and learn how to do estate sales and get an insight and be known by the estate attorneys and to be thought of first, and then working all kinds of various things, staying away from, say, maybe reverse mortgages because they're a nightmare to deal with, or sometimes bankruptcies and things like that. I mean, probate takes a long time, so it's a patient man's game, and yes, it can be very lucrative if you're a personable person and you happen to maybe know a little bit about the law or be close to the courts where you can kind of just walk to the where the records are, the property records and tax records are, kind of just get access to that. But what if that's not you? What if that's not your personality? Right? So there's also short sales, and that takes a world of patience too, and it's dealing with a lot of banks and people's, oh, I need this much money out of the house. No, you already spent it. That's why it's a short sale. there's all these flavors. So you have to just go, like I said, go get that free book, um, learn about some of the problems, and then say, "Wow, this is the problem I really this problem this problem feels like the one I want to solve, right? The this resign. What's the word I'm trying to find? Resonates with me. This particular problem. I've gone through it. My aunt went through it. Sheriff sale. Maybe somebody in your house lost their house that way. So you start digging into how to stop share sales and stop foreclosures, and maybe that becomes your thing. And, each one of these things is a special skill set, and get really good at one. And now after that, you'll start to see how you can kind of build some of the other practices in there because, like, um, for example, a foreclosure, a short sale would be a way to stop a foreclosure. So maybe you say, well, now that I know how to stop foreclosures, or I know that a short sale can stop a foreclosure, maybe I want to like dig into that and try to find if there's a way for me to make that a part of my business. Or you just, say, nah, I'm not going to deal with that. I'll send it off to a short sale specialist or an agent. I'm just going to stick to this. So with me, my kind of main gigs were like wholesale. Like I did fix and flips, and I did some other stuff and buy and hold. But my favorites were wholesaling, and then more recently short-term rentals like Airbnb. And because I'm a guy who likes cash flow, I need cash fast. I got 6 kids. Why? My name is Daddy's Fast Cash, so I would be slow cash if I was Mr. Short sale specialist, or tax liens and stuff like that, because they could take a long time, or note holders. Like they're meant to be slower and steady. So you gotta find you gotta find the technique that matches your personality and what you want to achieve. And remember your big why. If your big why is something that's 20 years out, then you can go and be patient and do some of these things that take a while. But they're steady, and understand that with those kind of things, when you get good at them, yes, they're unimpressive for the first maybe 5 years, but if you have enough of those things going, then you're very impressive, because then you could probably become an expert and eventually a private lender. And there's nothing better than to just be the bank and receive money like an ATM without worrying about toilets and trash and tenants, you know as you would with a regular, say, rental. Especially now, with the moratoriums and COVID and all that stuff and everything that came down. Like, landlords is having a rough time. Everybody's having a rough time, but they are too, because they got mortgages to pay. Yeah, being your own bank. To be honest with you, that is something that not a lot of people know about. It can be real estate related, but it's really a specialty of the right types of insurance. Um, but if you know how to do it, then you can actually, use it to invest in real estate as well. It's just really, it's building up the right kind of insurance policy, or just having a lot of money. I mean, you can build up bank money from buying and selling a lot, like flipping houses, or simply being a lender. You lend like a hard money lender or private lender. You lend between 8 to 16% with 1 to 5 points or whatever. There's that. Um, yes, life insurance policies, specifically whole life insurance policies that are constructed a certain way. They build up cash values over a certain amount of years after they're capitalized, and then that becomes your own bank. And with that, I would say start out with auto loans to yourself, because they're easier. But there's books written on that. Like, that's just another specialty. So yeah. We're going deep in a different direction here, but just letting you know, like, the world of real estate is really wide open. I would say start getting in groups, start joining Alchemist Zoom calls. A lot of them are free. Um, Start talking to people more. You can get to meetups where people talk about this stuff, or even Google some of it and start just asking questions. You'll learn more about that. And you know, there's all kinds of things you can invest in. You don't have to just invest in real estate. It's just that real estate is very solid because you actually get a physical product, meaning like a house, or even a piece of paper if it's notes, something to show for it. Whereas with crypto, yes, something tangible, exactly. Whereas crypto and some other things, I mean, you don't really have a lot of control over the stocks. I mean, the whims of Elon Musk can screw you up these days, or Trump, or any anybody with any kind of influence can mess those things up really easily. But Musk could talk all the shit he wants about properties, but I doubt that that's going to make everybody suddenly sell their property. So you see how that works. So some things are stable, some things are seem quick and easy, but they're very volatile. You just got to figure out, how old are you and what do you really want to, how do you really want to prepare for this? Then obviously, the younger you are, you have way more choices. But if you really just want to start doing something and learn as you go, I would say invest in some education and then maybe learn about self-funding a whole life policy with additional paid up riders so that you can build up cash value. And then when you're ready to go put some money down on something, if you've built a policy up over 4 years, usually seven's better, but like up to 4 years, you kind of got to wait. If you're doing that while you're young and you're trying to, you're educating yourself when you're ready, you can go in there, start pulling money out of these policies, lend to yourself, give yourself a better rate of return than any bank or any lender would do, and it's legal if you do it, under the right circumstances. And then suddenly, all the things you would be borrowing money for now, you're actually paying yourself to use because we all use finance in one way or another in every transaction in our life, whether it's the money we leave in our bank that they lend out on our behalf that they don't give us any interest on, or the money we pay to credit cards or automobile or mortgages. Um, Interest is being accrued. It's just a question of, are you capturing it for you or are you just giving it up? So that's a whole game you could be playing very nicely and very risk free if you do it the right way while you're figuring out real estate or some other things. So just little side rabbit hole we went down there, but figured I'd tell you. Any authors? Yeah, let me see. Um, Let me see if I can go on Amazon. I'll shoot you a link in a second. You can start anytime. It's not. Yeah, you can start anytime. 30. That age that you just told me is fine. Give me a second. I got it. Jeez. I'm just sorry. I'm looking at the what the name of the book is that I just recently got on that, so I can give you the right information. Okay, so guys get free sales from me. Hopefully he pays it back one day. Actually, the book itself is worth it. It's called Becoming Your Own Banker, Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept by Nelson Nash. It's on Amazon for 25 bucks. Came well recommended. Anybody that knows anything about infinite banking probably knows about that guy in this book. So yeah, read it. And then if you actually need to know more about it, I know people who create these policies. So um, what else? What else? What else? Okay. I mean, I think that's it for right now. It's kind of difficult because like we're not engaging online. There's probably people that are gonna watch this video and be like, oh, he's talking to himself again, which is okay because I'm allowed to do that. I'm old enough and I don't give a crap. But it'll be weird. It's probably not very entertaining. So yeah, it was nice meeting you, Sue. I'm probably just going to um, end this video and call it a day, and then I'll upload it, and hopefully somebody will get some value from it, even though we were kind of rambling about real estate a lot today. So if that's okay with you, maybe maybe I'll see you in one of the other Zooms that the Alchemist Nation puts together. Thanks for sharing with me. I know we did this by chat, and yeah, I mean, it's always fun when I do these things, and if I can help anybody in this time, I'm always grateful for that too. So that is it. I'm going to stop share. And that's it. I don't have any other questions. Then I'm out. So I'm going to go play with my kids now. Talk to you guys later and appreciate you guys tuning in this long. Peace.